welcome to the Crafty Toads. This is a podcast about knitting, crocheting, sewing, and this is our sewing week. So welcome. I am Mary Beth. You can find me all over as MaryBeth494, mostly on Instagram and Ravelry.
And I'm Helen, and you can find me as HelenHG69 and also Instagram and Ravelry.
And we are the hands and minds behind Toad Hollow. So you can find Toad Hollow at toadhollowNJ.com or Toad Hollow NJ on Etsy. And we are Toad Hollow NJ across the board.
And our shop is pretty much empty right now because we're doing shows this past weekend and next weekend. So stay tuned. April 23rd.
23rd.
It's just going to
blow up, man.
Yeah.
Blow up. Okay?
It's going to be crap everywhere.
Yeah. Anyway.
Actually, it's going to be really good stuff everywhere.
Yes. Oh my god, we have such good stuff.
A little yellow square on my face.
Oh, it's identifying your face.
Good.
Identifying you as a person. So, because it did it to me before.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't recognize me?
Well, now it is. It's because you've got such short hair. It's because she shaved her head. Doesn't recognize her anymore. We went and got our hair cut because our haircuts before were just, it was getting to the point where they were awful. So, but as Helen said, we had a fiber festival this weekend.
Yes.
And look, we survived. We made it through. It was such a good weekend.
It was. Thank you so much to everybody who came by and said hello. Everybody who came by and bought stuff.
I was going to say anybody who came by and shopped. Everybody who came by and bought things. Really, really thank you so much for supporting us. We met a lot of new people, new vendors. Met some new people vendor-wise.
And I made some good contacts. And
and ideas for other shows that are either just passed, so for next year or coming up.
Right.
But it was a great weekend, and we spanned the gamut of the temperatures.
We hit all 4 seasons in 2 days.
Yeah. It was up to 87 degrees on Saturday. We were in a tent in the parking lot.
That wasn't so bad.
No, it really wasn't.
I mean, I was not.
There were a couple times I was doing this. You know,
it was a little warm.
I told somebody I was sweating off a couple pounds. Not a bad thing. You know,
and
it was really...
It was, 87 in April is a little odd.
Right.
But I will
sunny,
take it hands
gorgeous.
Down.
Yeah. Because then Sunday...
Over the 40 and raining. It was Sunday.
Oh, it was so cold. And I think part of it was because we were standing on the concrete and it was just seeping up through your feet. And by the end of the day...
By 2 o'clock, I said to my Beth, I was ready to just start shrieking.
Visibly shaking. I was so cold. And Helen's like, I'm putting my coat in the car. And I thought, I had seen the temperature for Glassboro, which said it was supposed to be around 47. So I said, I've got a wool sweater. I've got a sweatshirt on top. I'm going to put that I can put on top of it. I'm fine. I don't need a coat. She's like, I'm just going to put yours in the car anyway. I'm like, no, don't worry about it.
She was adamant. So I didn't.
Don't worry about it. So she didn't. Oh my God, I was
Within
so cold.
half an hour, she's like, yeah, I really wish I put my coat in the car.
Oh, it was so cold. But it was a good day. It was a fantastic weekend. I mean, it was such a good weekend for us. So, yeah, no, it was really, really, really good.
Hence why all the yarn is gone from behind us.
Yeah. It's still packed up because we have the
we have to unload the car.
Oh, that's true. We have the clown car is stuffed to the gills.
But we did it all in a Honda Civic.
I know. I was talking to one of the
shelves and all the inventory in a Honda Civic, and we didn't have to tie anything to the roof.
I was talking to one of the vendors, and she couldn't believe we were getting a car. I'm like, no, it's truly a clown car. It just, I'm going to open the back door, and it's just going to go boom. And it's going to go flying out all over.
By the time I got home yesterday, number one, it was pouring rain. And number two, I was so tired. We're like, I'm good with wandering around with shelves in my car for the rest of the week. And then this morning we have to run our errands after we're done here. And I'm like, yeah, nothing else is going to fit in the car.
There is no room.
There's no grocery shopping because either we unload the car or we don't eat.
Right. So we have to do the whole week's grocery shopping too. So it's not like we're just getting like a bag of carrots or something like that. We need the entire thing. So it's, yeah, that has to be done. But a lot of it is just going to stay in its bags because it's going to turn around and go to Chelsea on Thursday.
Right.
So we have some yarn left over for Chelsea, some bags left over for Chelsea, but we have new yarn in with new bases that we're going to be dyeing. We're really excited about that. That's going to be for the local yarn store for the Wool Walk. And also we have a couple of new styles of bags that we're going to try and see if they work out and see how they're going to look for how many of those we can get done over the next 3 days. 2 days, because actually 2 days, yeah. But
2 days.
But-
We're going to dye 2 new bases of yarn, make at least 2 new sets of bags.
we should be able to do this.
Right.
We can do this.
I mean, what we accomplished in the last 2 weeks?
yeah.
It's cake.
Piece of cake, right? So, no, it's going to be kind of cool. Okay, so today we want to talk about quilting.
Our 100-day project.
Yes. We are on, I think, day
Today's
16?
Monday, so
No.
tomorrow would be 2 weeks.
Yes. No, today's 2 weeks. Because it started on the Tuesday.
Right.
So today is day 14.
Today we're finishing up our second week.
Okay. So, do you want to show your first one?
Sure. So when we first 2 weeks ago when we podcasted to say that we were doing the 100-day challenge, I was saying I was going to take some jelly rolls and do a jelly roll quilt. So I have a jelly roll quilt. And I also have a hair in my eye.
It couldn't have possibly come from the quilt. 'Cause
No.
There's no hair on this quilt whatsoever.
So
Can you pull a little bit tighter so that it's there? Okay. That
These-
way people can see.
are my pink and gray Paris jelly roll rolls that I had, and it was too much, because the pattern I was working with was you make this is a square. There are 2 squares here and here.
So this is a square coming
To
across
the
like
middle,
that.
yeah,
And then up like that. So
And
these
then-
2 strips, that's 1 square.
right. So actually,
then
it's 3 squares. now that I'm
These
looking
2
at it.
coming down are
Right.
another square. Okay.
So it's 3 squares put together, and then I'm supposed to have the other 3 and just do 9, do a 3 by 3, and it was just way too much for me. Excuse me. With the paisley and
The pink.
the pink and everything
was a
all together, it
lot
was
of
just very,
pink.
very busy. So I opted to add the blue.
Which I think is a very, very good idea.
And just add some more color to it.
Also splitting it up.
Yeah, and splitting it up because it was just getting like crazy busy. And then I did the green border and the blue and the green, everything except the jelly rolls were in my stash too. I didn't go and buy anything new. So the blue and the green are from stash. I had to sew the green together in certain areas, but for the border. And then I did the back. I didn't have one piece that was big enough for the back. So I just went into our stash and I just picked up a whole bunch of purple fabrics and I sewed them together. So my back is just this crazy mishmash of purple. And I'm going to bind it in yellow.
Okay. I was going to say, what color are you going to bind it in?
So I have the yellow bumblebee scraps.
Okay.
So I'm going to bind it. And I started the quilting process. So I started the quilting process of, I'm just stitching in the ditch, which is pretty much just machine quilting over my seams. And so I started stitching in the ditch, and it's not the easiest thing. I have a very small throat machine. The throat is the space between the needle and the arm of the machine. So it's hard to push this bulk through. That's not the biggest problem. It's just all the layers. It's very difficult to just push it through as it's sewing. So we had somebody suggested to us that we need a walking foot for our machines. So we have ordered a walking foot, and we're going to see if that helps out with it, because it hurts my shoulder.
We both have experienced it. It comes right down my neck and right around my throat,
down here, yeah.
right through my shoulder, and it's just such pain. So
these are the things you learn.
right.
So walking feet are on their way.
Also,
And-
1/4 inch feet.
And 1/4 inch foot, because
The foot that has a 1/4 inch between the middle and the edge, so that you just line it up against the edge of the fabric, and it gives you a good steady 1/4 inch
Right.
seam.
because part of my problem was my blocks did not. I thought I was being pretty good with the 1/4 inch seam on my blocks, but they didn't
Match up quick.
match up
properly.
and measure. They didn't measure what the pattern had said for, because so I had to do them a little bit. I had to lay them out a little differently. That's all. It wasn't a big deal. So, and then on Saturday, because we've been quilting in the morning.
Yes, we usually do our quilting
First
thing in the morning to get it so that you know that you have set aside time for it.
Right.
Because otherwise it just, everything stretches out and then you're so exhausted, nothing's going to go well.
Or there's always something that's more important.
Right.
You know, you're going to have to get that bag done or dye the yarn or whatever. So if you do it before you start working, you know you're going to get it in. But with doing the show this weekend, we did not have time in the morning to do it because the show was an hour and a half, but went up 2 hours away. So on Saturday, when we got home, I wanted to do something. I wanted to do something every day for the 100 days as much as I can. So I was going to do some hand quilting, and I don't enjoy hand stitching, like the stitching in the ditch where I can't get it through. I'm going to try it with the walking foot first. So I put little accents with embroidery thread in the corners. Just little stars. So that's
what you had in you. You got 4 stars out, right?
I got my 4 stars. That was all I had in me Saturday, but I did something. So it's a win.
I think they look so pretty against the green.
Yeah,
I thought, you know how you were talking about doing stars around the outside? I'm kind of thinking maybe you should. Or something. Embroidering something around the outside because it looks so pretty against the green.
So I think I might add more to it. But I'll save it because it'll be for the days where we don't have time.
Right.
You know, like opera days or whatever.
Right. So that if you bind it,
I can still do it.
Stitching in the ditch and then bind it, and then you can
The thing is that I can do if I haven't bound it yet, I can hide my ends in between.
Oh yeah.
So.
Well, I figured.
I know there's a way to do it to pull it through when you're. I
was doing it with
quilting thread, but I'm using embroidery floss, not even floss, crewel thread. So.
So you just have a couple of.
So I have a couple knots in the back. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. Who's gonna see it?
Right.
So.
So that is my the one thing I got semi-finished. At least, I mean, it's a full quilt top with a sandwich and everything.
Right.
So it's a fairly big accomplishment.
It is. It's huge. And it's only been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And you've got all the other stuff you've been doing.
Right.
So it's fantastic.
So that's mine.
Here is mine.
Which way are we going to go? Up
This way.
Okay.
So this is my jelly roll quilt.
You did the racing quilt.
I did the racing quilt. Which, what you do is you take all your strips and you sew them together a certain way so that they lay flat when you unfold them. And then you take your long strip, which is, for me, was about 800 feet, fold it in half, and sew straight along one edge. When you get to...
800 feet or 800 inches?
Probably 800 inches, not 800 feet. That would be really, really long.
You didn't get very much out of 800 feet.
We'll go with 800 inches. So, and actually, yeah, I think it was 800 inches. Okay, so anyway, 800 inches. You sew it up, and once you get to almost the middle where it's folded over, you just snip through that and then sew it, and then you take that piece and you fold that in half and sew up the 400 inches or the 200 inches.
Right.
And you just keep folding it over and folding it over until you have this long piece that is all of them sewn together. And then I took a creamish colored background and did that as my border going around, and I used a green polka dot as my binding. I bound off before I did my stitching, my quilting. I started by doing the stitching in the ditch, and you can see I've gotten so far. Well, actually, you probably can't see because it doesn't really show.
Well, no, you can see some of the stitching.
Oh, I have a light blue fabric with blue and purple fish on it. That's my backing. But just like Helen, I got a certain number done, and then my shoulder it hurt so much. So then I turned it around and started doing it from the other end, because the closer it is to the end, the easier it is to push through. But again, my shoulder started to give out. And on Saturday when we came back, I thought I would do some hand quilting, some stitching in the ditch, and you can see, You might be able to see it's kind of a pink thread. I think it's right like here. Anyway, it's very uneven. It's really kind of wavy. I was so tired. And the stitches are all uneven and it's just a mess. So I am not going to do that as far as stitching in the ditch is concerned. It's not following the way I want it to.
And you know what? I just don't enjoy it.
No, I think what I'm going to do...
I don't want quilting to be something I don't enjoy.
Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for the walking foot and hopefully be able to finish it with that. And then I had an idea of taking a stencil and stenciling like along the bottom a dragon going along like that.
That would just be awesome.
And just stenciling and then using some thin embroidery thread and just stitching the dragon going along, and that'll be something. And it'll be a lot more interesting than...
Maybe you do like seagulls to begin with, because it's such a beachy quilt.
Well, I was thinking of doing like a flamingo coming down the side, but then he'd be really, really skinny, which I don't want.
You do dancing seagulls going across the bottom.
Okay. I'm going to try and find something. It's just that, you know, the Chinese dragon that just stretches
Yeah.
across is perfect for the size.
For the size of it,
So,
it just doesn't...
It just screams something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'll do Loch Ness. But
Or you could
that's
just do
not in Florida.
waves. Just to start.
No, I want something interesting. Waves
Okay.
are boring.
Okay.
I want something interesting that's going to keep me going with it.
Yeah.
So I have to figure out what I'm going to do, and I think I may do that as my quilting down there and just leave it with straight stitching across
Yeah.
the seams here. I just have to get the right foot to finish that, but then I can add embellishments as I go along
On the days that
are low. Because I mean, these pink flowers, I thought, you know, adding some of those up and down the sides might be kind of cool. The dragon really doesn't fit. Maybe I'll do fish swimming.
Oh, you could do that.
You know, do some
like
fish
a piranha.
going across, like a school of fish
Or a
going
shark.
across, and
Shark
then
coming up to get the flamingos.
no. Oh my God, I'm thinking maybe a school of fish
Hanging around with little boys too much.
going across and then have like turtles
That'd be really good.
You go going up and down.
And you could do some shells or something.
and starfish and that kind of
that'd be
thing.
cool.
You know, some beachy things.
I love that.
And I'll save my dragon for a different fabric.
Yeah.
But yeah, so do that kind of thing going around, but that'll be things that I add as I have time when I don't have time to do quilting in the morning.
Right.
It'll be a cool thing. You just take it out and right now it's finished, so I can just drape it across my lap, and it's nice, something nice and warm. to
Right,
keep me
while you're
warm.
working on it.
So that's my first quilt. That's done pretty much, except
High
finishing.
five!
Awesome. Why do you high five with your left hand?
Because it just seems weird to go at you like I'm punching you in the
No.
face.
Bam! Okay. All right. So what are you doing next? What's up next?
Okay, so I got the easy thing done. So
Now we're
why
gonna
go
jump
middle
into-
of the road?
Right.
Now, because I had this pattern.
We bought it.
We bought it, and when we were in the quilt shop in New York, we saw other patterns by Elizabeth Hartman. And we're like, oh, should we get that? I'm like, no, we cannot get it until we do the one we have.
She wouldn't let me.
So, because
I was
she
all
has
set.
all Arctic animals now.
Not only the Arctic animals, she had the sea
Sea
creatures.
ones, yeah,
Oh,
it's
they're
just-
so cool. Seahorses. Do seahorses.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go. See, creative
If you guys are
minds.
following this at all.
Creativity breeds creativity,
Right.
right? Okay.
Okay. So
go.
I am doing the fancy forest quilt, and I'm doing the small version. So they're not so. This is the large version, the picture. The small version is back here.
How big is the small version? 35 by 47.
Right. So it's not going to be that. It's not like going to fit my bed or anything like that. But I figured, it's very daunting to have to cut all that out. So start off with, get a handle of it, and do the small one. Don't go crazy. So I'm not doing that color. Again, I'm pulling from scraps. So I'm not going to buy fabric just for it, because she says you should buy a gradient fat quarter kit
Okay.
or something like that with bright colors. But since I'm still in my learning phase, I'm just using scraps. Also, we have, like, the scraps are taking over the house.
Yeah, gazillion scraps.
So far, I have done. The small quilt calls for 4 foxes. So I have 2 of each of these patterns.
Oh,
So these are my foxes. I
they're
am
so cool.
thrilled with my foxes.
So cool.
So this was not so bad. Here, you can see my stitched, how many seams I have on the back. It's not too bad. I mean, there's piecing, but it wasn't so bad. So next up in the pattern book is the bunny. This is my baggie of all my bunny. Let me show you for scale. This is the piece. These are some of the pieces that I have to put together.
Teeny, teeny, tiny pieces.
Very tiny pieces. So I was going along this morning, and the bunny is much more. I did the foxes in one day. I did 4 foxes in one morning. It was no problem. The bunny is about. The bunny square is probably about 2 of the fox, so you only have to do 2 of them. So I have gotten the ears. Look at that. They look like ears.
They do.
I
look
was
like
going
yours.
along, and I was thinking, there's so much wrong
with this picture.
with this. Well, also, I mean, I did things wrong. My corner to corner sewing is not the best, and I just thought it was going to be an unholy mess. But
they look like ears.
they look like ears.
They're definite ears.
So my learning thing is just go ahead and do it and put it together and see what it looks like.
So this is.
I mean, it's not going to win. So these are his eyes. So I've gotten the eyes and try to get them to hold them together. Hold on.
I can do it sideways. See how he goes. His ears and his eyes.
I have the ears and the eyes.
Okay.
So tomorrow I will do the rest of him and put him completely together.
Awesome.
But
He's very impressive.
as opposed to the fox, look at all those seams. There is so much piecing. But I'm doing it, so
And here's
it's cool.
the eyes. With all the little pieces.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
I'm just. It's like learning to knit for the first time. It's like, you read the pattern and you're just so defeated.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
how is this going to work? And
Right.
then you're like just row by row.
Right.
And row by row, get some ears.
That's so cool.
I'm very excited about this.
And if you think, okay, the owl has such tiny little pieces.
Oh my god.
Just saying.
However,
And
I think he's
can I
going to be.
point out? The porcupine, there's a lot of points.
Yeah.
A lot of points.
So-
But if you look at the owl,
All
all
the
the things
different-
going around his eye,
All those
those are
different
like
little pieces on his eye.
17
yeah.
little pieces going around his eyes.
So I figure the bunny is just practice for the owl.
Yeah.
And then everything's downhill from there, because the owl, I think, is the most difficult
I think so.
as far as piecing.
I think the porcupine is going to be a little bit difficult just with.
It's a
But
lot of
it's
corner
sewing-
to corner, and
yeah,
I
it's just sewing corner to corner. You don't have to cut that piece
Right.
out.
so it's
With the owl, do you have to cut the hexagon out? Do you have to cut it into hexagons?
no, she's gonna do it all with corners. See?
Yeah. Okay. Because I was going to say, I'm pretty sure we can get a hexagon tracer
Yeah.
that you could use. But yeah. Okay.
No, she has you cut. It's
Oh, boy.
all you cut are squares and rectangles,
Okay.
and you get, these. It's really fascinating construction. So
Wow.
I love it. And my background is just a very light gray with white flowers. So that's what's going to be the background of the quilt. And there's going to be a lot of piecing needed to make up for my discrepancy in size squares. But we'll cross that
It will
bridge when
work.
we get
Yeah.
there.
No, it'll work.
Very pleased.
Mine is going to seem like such a letdown after that.
No, it's not.
Well, mine is a little bit easier. I decided to go
You
middle
just
of
got
the road.
a lot. I mean, you're doing a really big one. I'm only doing a 30-inch quilt.
I am doing the Totally Tulips
I love that.
from Missouri Star Quilt Company. And this one is it's a quilt pattern made for 10-inch squares, and it is going to be 89 by 90 inches when I am done. So I cut my squares. I don't have the ones that I'm not done yet. They're still in my bag, but I am making tulips.
You've done a whole bunch.
I have done 4 colors. There's 7 colors, 4 of each, so I'm going to have 28 flowers altogether.
So unlike her, you're not patchworking.
No, I am
You're
doing
just
them
doing
all
all
the
one
same
color.
color because I like the way they look the same color. So that's 1. Here's
Love this fabric.
2. This one, this is the one I did last night after we got back. So some of these are going to be kind of wonky, and I'm going to have to shave inches or some things off the edges, I think, but I will see when we get to it. But that's 2. This one I adore.
Oh my god.
This is 3. It's my 3rd color.
And again, this is all from scraps.
Yep. All leftovers, and these are 4. That's 4. Yep, that's the right size. Okay. So that's 4. Drew's decided that she wants to sit
now going to be in
the
between
middle.
us.
To make the leaves, you use a 10-inch square of a greenish fabric, and then you overlay it with a 10-inch square of your background fabric, and then you sew it all together in a certain way where you're sewing on crossway or diagonal to diagonal, and then up and down, and then cutting. It's all sorts of things.
Go like this,
Yeah,
this, and then you have a
and you
stem.
have leaves.
It's perfect.
And now you have to add the stem in afterwards because the stem is a separate piece that goes in between.
Okay.
But I have my green fabric all cut into 10-inch squares. I do not have enough of my background fabric. It's a creamy color with little white flowers on it. I don't have enough of that, and I don't want to mix it with something else because then it's just going to look really weird. So we are going to Joann's
that
today.
That justifies a purchase.
And we are going to get more of the cream colored fabric for the background. So I'm
Plus
going
we
to
can use that for inside bags.
Oh
so.
yeah. So we're going to get that, and I think part of the problem is I'm fairly certain it's the same color that I used as the border for my other quilt. So that that may be where a lot of it went. So I have to get more of that to do the leaves, but then I will be able to start.
So how many more flowers you have to make?
I have 3 more colors to do, so there are 12
Okay.
more flowers to make, and then I have to do I think I only have to do 14 of the green with the 10-inch square, because when you cut it, it
So it
actually
becomes
goes into
2?
2 sets of
Okay.
leaves, so that I get 2 flowers per 10-inch square. So I need enough fabric to do with the 10-inch square of the green, and this is the green that I am using, so it's got
That's so cool.
seashells and starfish and that sort of thing, but that is going to be all my leaves. And then I need to pick a color for the stem, and I'm either going to use a gray or a brown, depending on what we have in stash. But that I will make
After you get all your leaves.
after I get all the leaves done. So I have been doing about 4 flowers each day, 1 color each day.
Okay.
So I have 3 more days of doing the flowers, and then I can start making the leaves.
And then we're into a couple days of hand stitching. So.
Right. And then I will start. There's a way to put it together where you offset them so that you you do 1 flower up at the top, and then you do a strip
You
of
heard
white.
that was like burping.
A strip of white going across, and then the flower underneath that, so it's a little bit offset so that they are not exactly straight going across.
Yeah, I like that. How
It's a little bit of up and down. So, and then there's a long white strip that goes in between each of the rows of flowers that you've got to get. So I need quite a bit of the white fabric to finish it. But then putting it all together.
It's so pretty.
It is. It's going to be really spring.
Yeah.
Really spring-like. So I'm kind of excited about it. And since I'm doing a different color flower each day, it's like I'm doing something new. Even though it's the same technique,
Right.
I'm doing
Yeah.
something new each day. So it's fun. It's really good. So that's where we are with our quilting. 100 days project, 100 days of quilting, and we haven't missed yet. Knock wood, we've made it through 14 days and not missed.
Yeah. So how's everybody else doing?
Yeah, are you guys doing stuff?
Yeah.
If you are, let
Leave
us
us
know.
comments and we'll come
go-
see what you're doing.
Yeah, we want to see what you're doing too.
So.
All right. Well, dogs are beginning to get a little antsy. We have a long list of things to do.
Got a lot of errands
one of
to
which
run.
is to go to the bank and put in all our lovely money.
Yes.
So.
Deposit all our lovely, lovely money.
So we need to get out and get going, but before we can go anywhere, we need to unpack the car. It's just going to be so much fun. So we have to get going. We hope you have a wonderful week.
Yes.
If you are in the area in New Jersey and you would like to come to the Wool Walk, we will be at Chelsea Yarns in Red Bank, New Jersey on Thursday and Friday, and we will be at Hooked on Saturday.
Hooked is in Haddonfield.
In Haddonfield. And come see us. I believe we are doing 11 to 5 or 11 to 4.
We're doing
Most
11
days.
to 5, 11:30 to 5 for Hooked.
And then 11 to 5 on Thursday and Friday? Or 11 to 4 Thursday to Friday?
11 to 4 Thursday and Friday.
Okay, so 11 to 4 Thursday and Friday, 11:30 to 5 on Saturday.
Right.
Come see us.
Yes.
We will be there. All right.
Have a great week, everybody.
Yes. And as we always say, go forth and knit.